You're about to meet a kid who had a great idea a couple years ago and turned it into a nonprofit. Oh, and he was 11 when he started it.
She's a friend who'll show up with coffee or wine when you need it most. But probably wine. Good vibes are on the way. Welcome to Aaron O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency.
Hi, welcome back to Aaron O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency. I'm Aaron. It is so great to have you here. So, I heard about this kid named Connor and how he started this kindness project, and I wasn't exactly sure all the details of it. And when I dove in and found out, I had to have him on the Feel Good Frequency. He's here with his grandma who helped him start this back when he was 11. Sharon and Connor of Connor's Kindness Project. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks for
for
having
having us.
us. Yep.
Absolutely. So, what's really cool is that you are out of Massachusetts, and I've heard of this incredible project that you started back during the days of COVID, but I didn't know any of the details. And then, ironically, I kept thinking, I got to get a hold of Connor and see what this is all about. And then my mother sends me this article from Woman's World magazine, and you're in it. And I was like, okay, I am getting a hold of Connor to really talk to him about this because this definitely has to be on my podcast. So, how did this all come about? I know it started during COVID, but what was it? Because it's become something so much bigger now.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm 16 now. I was an 11-year-old kid then, and obviously, like when you're in quarantine and there's not much to do, you get pretty bored. And I'd always kind of had a background in community service. My mom always tried to get me involved in volunteering, whether it was like Special Olympics, like things like that. So I had that background and that I was part of that kind of community. So, seeing I didn't get to spend as much time with my grandmother, I wanted to kind of do something with her. And that's when we landed on doing some small but meaningful community service projects in the community. It was typically like one a month, one project a month. And that was things that they range from like baskets for nurses to thank you cards and like baked goods for the police and fire, and COVID care packages. So it was really just things like that. And at this point, it wasn't like a real nonprofit. This was just me and my grandmother, like, wanted to help the community, do stuff like that. It wasn't a true organization at all. And then when we kind of did our projects and we wanted to kind of do something new, and so we ended up researching some other nonprofits and going into that field. We landed on Katie's Closet and Birthday Wishes. We just kind of helped them with their, day-to-day projects, did some drives for them, and seeing what they were able to do in such a tough time kind of inspired me to start Connor's Kindness Project. And that's kind of how we got started with our actual nonprofit organization. And now we deliver kindness kits to kids in hospitals and shelters all throughout New England. And we also have our Kids Kindness Club, or Be Kind Challenge, we call it now, in elementary schools to inspire like younger kids to kind of not do what I started, because that might be a little over the top for some people, but like just be better members of the community.
I gotta tell you, you're so like nonchalant when you talk about it. It is unbelievable. When I was 16, I was failing my driver's test. That's what I was doing when I was 16. And the fact that you started this when you were 11 it's just so inspirational. And I was reading that you got together like the first maybe 250 baskets or
hmm
bags or kits by doing lemonade stands to raise money. Is that how you did it?
Yeah, we have a beach house in Hampton, New Hampshire. So on our little beach there, we just had like a few lemonade stands over the course of the summer, but it was like lemonade, a bunch of snacks, like other drinks too. So it was like a little more than a lemonade stand, but we have a great community down there. So everybody kind of participated and helped us out. And we were able to get enough to fund our first 250 kits. So it was pretty successful.
Wow. I love that. I love that you set up your own like snack shop. That was
Yeah.
smart. That was really smart. So, what was it that made you want to make this even bigger? Because it must have been a really good feeling to be able to help people, especially in isolation with COVID. I feel like we've all moved on and tried to forget that part of life, but it really must have been difficult as an 11-year-old just navigating it. It must have been boring, but also kind of stressful. Like, I just want to get my life back. And
Yeah.
you wanting to help others, was that just something that kind of helped you as well?
Yeah, like, I don't really get much out of doing what we do other than the fact that it's really rewarding. And I love helping other people, and I think what we're doing is something special, but, I love doing it. It's been great. We've had a lot of success, and I just wanna keep going, and yeah, it did kinda help me feel a little bit better about myself and during that time period when I was so young.
Yeah, and we're all looking for something to make us smile, especially back then. So, Sharon, you are the executive director, and clearly you guys have a great family because I love the fact that Connor's like, I was just sort of brought up this way to want to help others. And I was like, you were 11. That's pretty impressive that that was ingrained in you at such a young age. So, obviously, the fruit didn't fall far from the tree, and now this is your full-time job.
It is my full-time job, and I love every minute of it, and I think that one of the most rewarding things that has come out of it, and I think Connor would agree, is we started a Be Kind challenge for elementary schools because what we wanted to do was share with other youth that this is something that they could do as well, and as Connor said earlier, you don't have to bring it to the level that we're at, but make a difference. Start thinking about your community, start thinking about how you can make some change, and I think that with that, it just brings more kindness into the situation.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
That's every day, my job. We have a lot of volunteers that come through our door, and I think that just helping other youth see the value that they can bring to the world.
You guys have said about the Be Kind challenge. Can you
Mhm.
explain exactly what it is?
Connor, do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, our Be Kind Challenge is elementary school based, where we go into the elementary schools and just basically launch a club. We provide them with a bunch of resources, and we have an assembly for them to kind of explain to all the kids like what it's all about. But basically, what it is we give them a list of kindness challenges and things like that for the kids to complete over the course of a month or usually around a month to 2 months. We provide like examples for them. Like it can be as simple as holding the door, like making a nice note for your classmate or teacher, things like that. And we also have some more complicated stuff like help out a nonprofit or like volunteer at the local food shelter, like things like that. And we give the schools and the students kind of room to work with that and they can do something that if they have another idea, they can do that as well. But we basically inspire them to do that. We have the assembly for them. We have them take a kindness pledge, like I said, and it's kind of cool to see all the kids come together and take a pledge, and then we kind of let it go from there and have the kids complete challenges. We provide the schools with like a few books on kindness and give the kids certificates and like a few cool little prizes when they complete it. So I think it's small, but it's a good sort of way to get the younger kids thinking about like being kind is really simple, and even the simple things can have a big impact.
You know what? You said it's small, but every great thing started with something small.
Exactly, like, we started small and look where we are now, so
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Is that what I was on your Facebook page? Is that what the calendar that's on there says for February? There's something different to do each day. Is that an example of what you would give the kids?
but, yeah, it's similar.
And you also, on your social media, you always have all of these inspirational sayings, and that is cool. You may not think that's a big deal, but when you're scrolling through mindless social media and your head is just spinning and you happen to catch something that's just a phrase or a quote that somebody said that is really uplifting, it can change your mood instantly. So well done on that.
Yeah, I'm not the social media guy, so she can take the credit.
Well, I think you do enough. I think you're in school and
Mm,
sports and things. I mean, I don't even know how you're navigating all of what you're navigating. It's pretty impressive. But
thank
that
you.
is a very good thing that you've got Nana here taking over.
Yeah.
By the way, you could not have a full-time job aside from this because you're everywhere. When I was going through just before chatting with you guys, I was seeing all the different places that you've been, and you just were recently in Woburn. And did they start a Be Kind challenge there? Is that what that was about?
Yep, we have that. We have it in schools. We've been in 71 actually. So in 2
Mm,
years that we have launched 71 Be Kind challenges that have what Connor about 20 over 25,000 students have taken the pledge,
yeah.
and if they each complete the 20 acts of kindness, it's almost 500,000 acts of kindness
Yeah.
from one small idea. And we didn't really start thinking about what those numbers would be until it started to grow.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. You're changing the world. No wonder you've been in People magazine and all these other places. I'm on the website going, wow, they've been everywhere. This is so cool. And it all started with an idea to cheer people up during a time that none of us had ever navigated before.
Right. And Connor, you should share how many kindness kits we have delivered in how many hospitals, etc.
Yeah, we've delivered 17,000 kits now, and I can't even keep track of how many hospitals. I know
Oh my,
it's like around
It's about 90
80,
organizations.
90 hospitals and shelters all around New England. So
do you partner up with other nonprofits or companies and stuff that help you put these kits together? Because that is an enormous number.
the kits is just us, but we have a lot of teen volunteers that come in. That's another big part. We love having teen volunteers come in and just it can be with a few friends. We've had like some teams come in. We've also had companies do like team building events putting kits together. So it's a lot less me and my grandmother putting kits together anymore. It's more we don't really have to do that part anymore. We have a lot of help from other people.
And they're in beautiful boxes. I was seeing all these kits and what they look like, and they're so great. And I saw a quote from somebody that was in the hospital. I want to say she was a teenager, and she was so bored and so frustrated and just wanted to get out of the hospital. And she was kind of telling her nurse that she was just really upset. She was having a bad day. And the nurse was like, I'll be right back. And she came back with one of your kindness kits. And all of a sudden, like, this girl started smiling and she was so excited. And there were Legos and all these different things in there that gave her something to do and reminded her of the fact that, hey, there are things happening outside of this hospital and you're not going to be in here forever and it's going to be okay. And just there was a note and everything else. Like the difference you are making is so exciting
Thank you.
because you are going to go and do amazing more things.
Yeah, but that's the stuff that keeps us going too. Like I said, we don't get much out of it, but the occasional like note from someone that does receive our kit and like the positive feedback we get is really rewarding, and that's kind of what keeps us going.
And just knowing that the way that you've changed somebody's entire day by this idea and you made it into something, you turned it into something, you turned it into a 501c3. When did you officially become a nonprofit?
That was early on. That was probably like 4 years ago.
That's not an easy thing to do either. There's a lot that goes into becoming an official nonprofit. So kudos to
Yeah,
you. Now, what grade are you in now?
I'm a junior. I'm in 11th.
What other activities do you do aside from, help your grandmother run your nonprofit?
School is a big commitment. I'm in prep school, so school's a lot. I'm a big hockey player, so that takes up a really lot of my time. That's probably takes up the most of my time with other than the nonprofit and stuff. So I love hanging out with friends and stuff, and I like golf, so I'm busy.
I guess I'm impressed that you have any time to do all of those other things. Has this become bigger than you imagined it would be? Or were you like, you know what? I want to make this as big as possible. Was this a surprise to you how big it's become?
I'd say originally, like when we were first doing small projects in the community, like we didn't even think we'd start a nonprofit. So in a sense, like yeah, I had no idea, and like I can't believe like where we are now. But now that we started it, and like when we actually decided we were gonna do like the actual nonprofit, now we kind of want to grow it as big as possible. So
What does that look like for you?
we always say like national. I don't know how long that would take, and we are in all of New England right now, so I think it's possible.
It's definitely possible. Sharon, what are you thinking about that? What are your next steps to try to make that happen?
I think I'm just going to help guide Connor to do what he feels comfortable with. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to do great things. He's already started on this path. He has a lot of empathy. And I just think that with the guidance and the teamwork and the people that we have behind us, I think we're going places. And I think with what he's done so far, he's going to do meaningful work in the future.
There's probably a lot of pressure with people asking you what you want to do when you grow up because the amount you've already done is so impressive that I would expect the answer to be like, oh, I don't know. I want to be the head of a cardiology department or
No.
I'm going to run for office or so, because you are a really special kid. You
Thank
really
you.
are a special kid. So that question, I'm sure, can get on your nerves after a while because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, man. Let me just live my youth and figure it out. But I have no doubt that you will figure it out and you will do something that helps others just like you are now.
Yeah, I will say, like, doing the nonprofit has taught me, like, a lot about business and things like that, so maybe something in business or finance or that sort of thing, but I'm still not completely set on anything yet.
You know what? You got time. You
Yeah.
got time. You've been working and making a difference in the universe since you were, well, probably born, but on paper since 11. So
Mm,
you get a pass.
thank you.
You get a pass. Oh my gosh, this is just incredible. So the last thing I guess I just wanted to know is how did this come about that you were like, I'm taking it all over?
So I was working in radiology at a hospital, and then I started working teaching radiology. And so I've always had this background with healthcare, with helping people. And I was doing that until just this past semester. I gave that up so that I can be dedicated to this because it was a part time, 2 days a week that I would go in, but there was a lot of work involved in that. And I wanted to be able to give both sides what they needed, right? So
Mm.
I had to shift 100% for Connor's Kindness Project. And I am in the office every day. I invite anybody that would like to come by to see it. Connor, is it not a happy place?
Yeah, it is. It's very colorful and stuff.
That's fantastic. Do you have a brick and mortar or do you do it out of your house?
Connor, talk about where we started and
Yeah,
then
we
where.
originally, we were in, my great-grandfather's basement, actually. So, yeah, and then we kinda outgrew that, as you can probably tell, so, um
I would think so. Like, I don't know how big his basement is, but you probably outgrew
yeah,
it pretty.
kinda well over a year now, though. We've had our own space. It's kinda good to have your own commercial space.
Oh my gosh, you've come so far. That is so exciting. I'm so proud of you. Ah, you're going to do
Um,
great things in the world, man. Thank you for being just a really good human. This is just one thing I wanted to make sure that I asked because I wasn't sure. Are all of the kindness kits the same? Do they all have the same kinds of things in them? Or are they all different depending on who they're going to?
I would say, like, they're the same, but sometimes they do vary a little bit based off our inventory, like, they all have a bunch of stuff in them, but sometimes maybe it's either, like, a Rubik's Cube or an Etch-a-Sketch, like, one of that. We can't put everything into the little box, so I would say it does vary a little bit, but they all look the same.
And they all
but
come
what
with a inspirational note, right?
Yeah, they all have a note. All of them have coloring book crayon stickers, and then, most of them have poppets, Etch-a-Sketches, Rubik's Cubes, like I said, and just a bunch of stuff, like fidget toys and squeeze balls and all the things that, like, younger kids would love to have, so
and Bombas socks.
Bombas, oh, yeah, how could I forget? They all have Bombas socks.
Oh, those are great
Yeah.
socks. Oh, I love that. I love that. I wish you the absolute best. I'm just so like I said, I'm so in awe of you and I'm really even though I'm this is the first time I'm meeting you, I'm so proud of you for being your age and making the difference that you're making. It is something for people to look up to and I hope many follow your lead.
Yeah, I really appreciate your kind words, means a lot.
Absolutely. And Sharon, thank you for putting all of your efforts now into this because you're making a great difference as well.
Thank you. He's kind of my everything, right, Connor? Or
Yep.
pretty tight.
Yeah, you're so lucky. You're so lucky to have such a great relationship with your Nana and having her do all this with you. It's like you're making lifelong memories. So keep it up.
Thank you. We're trying to do good to feel good, Aaron.
That's right. I'm all about that. That's you're my kind of people. Seriously, how great are they? I still can't get over the fact that Connor came up with this with his grandma at the age of 11. I don't remember really what I was doing at 11, but I'm quite sure it wasn't thinking about starting a nonprofit. Just blows me away. And the more and more I talk to kids that are really finding ways to help others, the more inspired I am about the next generation. What an obviously amazing family he comes from, and it shows. So it's never too early to teach your kids to give back. He is a perfect example. I love the fact that he was saying, oh, I just was brought up that way. He's 11 and he knows to give back. If you would like to find out more, you can go to connorskindnessproject.org. Again, that's connorskindnessproject.org. See all the great things they're doing and maybe volunteer, be part of it. I know they're going to end up going national. Who doesn't need more kindness? If you know somebody who is making a difference in the world, maybe it's you. I would love to know about it. Go to my website. It's ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. You can email me through that as well. And remember, it doesn't have to be some major nonprofit that you've started. It could be the smallest act of kindness. We just want to know about it and share it here. That is what the Feel Good Frequency is all about. And like I said to Connor, all big things started with one little idea. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great week. Bye.